And welcome to another episode of the Chronically Chill podcast with your host, DJ Mega Aim, and my co host, Jordan.
It's been a while since I've heard those words. Welcome back to the podcast.
And I just checked my subscriber base. I'm actually up to 191. Yay.
We need 9 more followers. 9 more followers. Come on.
Before we hit that 200. And anyway, we have our special guest for the second time, technically, because this is the Redux.
This is the yeah.
So we have.
Director's cut.
So we have our guest, Julia Mahoney. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Mahoney.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you for coming. Wait, let me. Yes. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I was looking at the way the YouTube is set up right now is so weird. Because usually, like back then, like if whatever you was doing beforehand, no, because what I was trying to do was, I'm sorry, I have like a brain fart right now. Whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Take a deep breath.
Wait, what happened? Is she still on?
I'm here.
All right. So let's get the show on the road. All right. So first, thank you for coming. Thank you for trying to do this again. Because the first time we did this, it didn't go so well. We had a lot of technical issues, and this is a big crunch time. But hopefully now we might be in the same situation, but a little better. All right, so Julia, why don't you tell us about yourself? Like, sorry, I'm again having like.
Okay.
Time I should take over.
All right, first, because you can tell us about just your general experience with CF and how you've been dealing with all that, and then tell us about like what you're doing.
Does she
in
have her
life.
camera on?
No, did you want it on?
Yeah.
Just so we could see your beautiful face.
All right.
Actually, I've seen your face before. Last time we saw it.
Really?
Yeah, you had your camera. I know. Do you have like blonde hair or something? Yeah.
There we go. All right, let me fix this.
We're in the center screen. All the attention's on Anthony right now. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. All right, everybody can see everybody. Yeah, it's gonna sound real good with the background music, but oh yeah, you feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, talk about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Jules. I have CF. I guess my little CF story, I was diagnosed at 8 due to liver failure. So they transplanted me a year later. Basically, because of that liver failure being so at like such a young age, they were like, what's up with this? Found out I had CF. My lungs were okay up until 18. Then they completely plummeted on me. I was getting admitted, I would say 3 to 4 times a year. My lung function eventually fell to 18%. I was looking at a double lung transplant. Then Orkambi came out. I have my own thoughts on Orkambi, but gave me the energy to move and start working out to, save my butt and get off the surgical table if I did get transplanted. But that was rough. So I ended up coughing up 17 cups of blood in the ICU. I was intubated, real fun stuff. Doing fine. And they basically told me, like, yeah, you need to make changes and start looking at getting listed. So I was like, okay, let me work out. I started lifting weights. I got my lung function to 34 before Symdeko came out at the end of Orkambi. And I gained like 8 pounds, which I was 83 pounds at that point, and which is just not okay. Symdeko came around. I got my lung function to 44. I think I got to 108 pounds total from that 83. Symdeko was not it for me, but I was admitted every 2 months. then I got on Trikafta, and I'm sure we all know. Oh my God, Trikafta is amazing. Come on, like everyone knows. It's tough. So I'm sitting at 120 pounds. I do Orange Theory. I do weight training every day. Orange Theory is like a intensive hit
Yep.
training with a lot of cardio, and yeah. So I'm sitting at 62 lung function, 56 on a bad day. Got COVID twice, once without. Okay, all political, religious, everything aside. When I wasn't vaccinated, I got COVID, survived. Second time I was forced to get vaccinated, got COVID, survived. So,
Wait, how'd you get it the second time?
oh, I just got lucky, you know. Well, probably from the
It sounds like
immunocompromised.
the vaccination caused COVID. What?
No, no, no,
Right
no.
after?
I didn't have an immune system, so I wasn't able to build those antibodies like you should. It wasn't until they came out with Evusheld, which is a 2 dose of. It's kind of like a pre-anaphylactic exposure thing, and so I got those injected. Then I had to get another booster, and I have been exposed to COVID many times after that, and fingers crossed. But yeah, that's
Is
spicy
this a
after.
weird question? Does your liver function go down when you have COVID?
It doesn't. My liver actually has held strong for 22 years now. So
That's good.
yeah, I mean it's my least of the concerns right now. So
Wait, so what is your concern right now?
I'm just I put in my 2 weeks at my job, and so I'm job hunting and real fun stuff.
Me too.
But
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole nother beast in itself.
mhm.
So you were saying like you got diagnosed at like 8 years old. Like that's it's. I always found that interesting because I know like for me I got diagnosed at birth and my sister got diagnosed like I think like 6 months to like a year or whatever. I can't imagine like having to wait that long or how long. I've heard some people say they've got diagnosed like well into adulthood or even like old age. Like how did you deal with that?
I so before the whole transplant thing, I had come down with severe pneumonia. And long story short, I lived in Korea between the age of 5 and 7, and so due to the pollution, everyone's like, "Oh, her cough is just from the pollution." That wasn't true, but when they finally took me to look at me, they had to do the sweat test. I ended up passing the sweat test 3 times. They had to do a DNA test to confirm that I had CF. So the doctors were telling my parents, "Oh, it's mild, yet my mutation is Delta F508." So I mean, it's honestly one of the more severe mutations. I don't really know why my lungs didn't tank into. Well, I was active in high school, but I mean, as a kid, they weren't tanking. It was just my GI tract and my transplant. So I didn't really understand the whole like concept of CF until I was 18 because I didn't have a network. I just knew like, okay, I'm sick. I have stomach problems. I had a transplant, and then it was like, oh, and I'm not supposed to not be able to breathe, and that's where I am, and this shit sucks. So yeah,
Yeah, honestly, I still don't even really understand that stuff like fully. Like for example with the I don't know, I forgot what I was gonna say. Like, all right, Jordan, you got any questions?
That's oh yeah, me to the rescue. What's your workout routine?
No, I have a question, but I was like, you know what? Why don't you ask some questions first, and I'll get to mine later.
I hit up Orange Theory in the morning, and then typically depending on my work schedule, either in the afternoon or after work, I'll hit the gym for weights for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm a gym rat all the way. Like, there's no denying it, but it's a little excessive, but it's my outlet, so
Hmm. And how do you manage CF while working out? I guess does it affect your liver function?
No, before Trikafta, I was always coughing in the gym. I was never doing cardio, but now since starting Trikafta, I hardly cough, honestly, as I cough now. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Except for now.
Hey, look, you gotta make it real authentic, right?
right, exactly, yeah.
Could you I guess explain to everybody like the different mutations for And by that I mean like to me, because I I still don't even really understand how that works.
I will try. I am by no means a doctor, scientist, or anything. So, if you want to like Google it, by all means, I'm not going to be offended. But I know there's like in genetics, there's different mutations. So the reason, I don't know if you guys know this, the reason that Trikafta works so well for those of us that have two Delta F508 mutations, there you go, is because Trikafta was pretty much geared to target Delta F508. So if you have like I don't know if this mutation is 100% correct, but like a G5518 and a Delta F508, you're only getting half of the effect on that Delta gene, not that G5518 gene. But there's other things like gating mutations, splicing mutations, stuff like that. And that's just like how the component works on the like on the DNA cellular thing. But I'm not going to go there. You guys can Google that because I'm sure that it's like, what the heck? But basically, it's like a key, right? Like every door has a key. So Delta F508 Trikafta is that key, but it's not a key to the other ones. So depending on like how many mutations you have or what they are, if you have double Delta F508, you're pretty much very successful. Almost always, no, almost successful on Trikafta. That's going to depend on everyone. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I'd ask you that, to see what your interpretation of that was, and if you actually knew what you was talking about. You know way more about that than I do, so
Do you understand it now, or do you still need more clarification?
yeah, yeah. It's like a choice in an RPG. Do you need to re-explain this? Yes.
I have some stuff when I was doing the CF awareness thing on Instagram a long time ago. I have like little sketches of like what it does and things like. I'll send it to you. There's some interesting stuff there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that the way that that Trikafta works, it lets salt come through the sodium chloride channels so that the mucus isn't as sticky and you're able to cough it up now. Because before the body didn't know like, oh, this is supposed to come out. It stayed in us, and then we got infections from being colonized.
I like that. I like that analogy.
There you go. But that's like the physical component of Trikafta, not like the cellular thing of Trikafta.
Steering away from that topic. I'm like, damn. Okay. Anyway, what do you want to be like in your career? Are these two normal questions? Do you want me to ask like more?
No, that's good.
My career is very like it's a niche career with a niche target group in itself. I focus on healthcare, and I'm a service designer. So I design. Where'd he go?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just. This is okay. Anyway, keep
I
going.
design end-to-end services from like a human-centered perspective, with a bunch of like research design and stuff to correct things that are wrong in the healthcare system for patients. That's my target.
Oh
And
yeah, didn't we talk about this? I remember you talking about this.
But it's super, super new. So it's a lot, like reading a book in like hieroglyphics to someone sometimes. So yeah. And
I mean, no offense. That's how when you were explaining the mutations, I didn't really understand. That's like hieroglyphics.
I'm sorry.
I mean, do you need to know what that means in order to have CF or no? Like,
I mean, if you're interested in knowing like why is my body doing this and why is Trikafta doing this, it's great.
It's like,
now, I take the med, I breathe, I feel good. That's good enough for you.
Like the breathing's clearer? Is that what it does?
Oh yeah. I mean, I used to be out of breath. I would have like crackling if I was asleep. My breathing was very labored, and now like I can breathe fine. My oxygen's. I was on an oxygen tank too at one point. I'm not on oxygen.
Oh my god! But you can breathe fine now, like you.
Yeah. Fine enough to run. I mean,
like I can't imagine like having anxiety and CF at the same time because I have anxiety and like OCD.
Yeah, and like anxiety, you're like, oh, I like you almost forget how to breathe. That's like you're holding.
Yeah, and it's like you already have trouble with that, and it's like.
Yeah, no, I have a 2-story house at my parents', and I would run up and down the stairs, just for basic things to get food. I was so out of breath. I was sitting on the floor like, I need a minute. And now like I just go up and down them like nobody's business. So
because of Trikafta?
Yeah.
Tefka, whatever. Yeah. I'm glad.
Yeah, me too.
Trying to think, what was I
It
gonna
was a
say?
difference.
I had another question. So is your career choice because you have CF, like inspired by that? Or you think you would have still had the same career if you didn't have it?
No, for me personally, I really want to. My goal with my career, like my like end goal, way up here type thing, if it ever happens, is to find a facility that is specializing in like chronic illnesses like sickle cell, moya, Arnold Chiari, just things like that. And I want to normalize younger patients, like teenager through early adulthood, getting admitted and making it like, because when you have friends, like I have friends that would come support me, they would come stay with me, but then I had friends that were like, so you what? Like it didn't make sense. So I want to kind of normalize that and make it more accepted, and then make it. I cannot change the trajectory of someone's health. I'm not a doctor. I can't, create your medicine schedule. Like that's not on me. But what I can do is create better spaces, find out like what can we do as a center to fulfill just basically feeling respected with a disease in a hospital, and having your peers come and it being like kind of normal and a hangout versus like, oh, it's cold, it's ugly, it's
Yeah.
that kind of deal. But no, if it wasn't for my disease, I definitely would not have encountered service design for health. I don't know what I my other desire was to
Yeah,
be a
what
doctor.
would you do?
I'd probably go be a doctor because that's what I wanted to do originally. I got my undergrad in bio, so
Oh, before you figured out you had CF, you wanted to be a doctor? Oh. I mean, that's still in the healthcare field. So it's kind
that's
of like
cool.
your CF was calling out to you, be like even though you didn't have it, it was like a sign
Yeah.
or something.
And it definitely, like I said, it definitely shaped my career with a program I applied to and the degree that I got for sure. So
Anthony, you still there? Okay, I guess it's all on me now. Sorry. I don't know what to ask. I'm sorry. Do you have any other things? How about some facts nobody knows about you?
Well, typically I say that I lived in Korea and I had a transplant, but you guys know that.
Yeah.
What else? I'm borderline ambidextrous. Yeah.
What is that? Oh, you mean
Like,
like flexible?
well, no, like I can write with both hands. I can draw with both hands with markers and stuff. Yeah. So I don't know what that's from. I cook a lot. I am a foodie. You might not
Oh,
be able to
you
tell, but I eat all the food, and yeah, I'm just always cooking food. Typically
don't have
now,
allergies to anything?
I had really bad like wheat and gluten sensitivity for a while. Not anymore. I don't know why. It's speculated that one day when we cure CF, that then we can target people with celiacs, which is like a gluten allergy, not just a sensitivity. It puts them in a very, very bad state, just because it has to do with like also the CFTR lining and stuff. But anyway, I'm not sensitive as much anymore to that. No, so I mean,
So I
I
guess you
eat.
could just lose it, right? Can you just lose the
I honestly, with Trikafta, I lost it. Before it was really, really bad. Like nausea for 3 days, not eating for a week. It was bad, and now I just eat whatever.
So that gets rid of gluten like problems?
No, no,
Like
no. It's not
uh,
labeled that way. It's not
I was
marketed
gonna
that
like
way.
say like, oh, they can use it, but no.
For me, somehow it went that way, but it's like suspected that it could ideally eventually breach into curing celiacs. Now, if you have CF and celiacs, do not go eat bread. Talk to your doctor. I'm not your doctor. Like that's not on me. That's not on me. Yeah.
Have you ever changed someone's life by giving advice? Because I've done that. Like saying something to them and it like changed their life
I
or
think
motivated
so,
them to do
but
something.
I definitely don't like I support a lot of my friends with CF, and apparently a lot of them learn from me.
They
But
should.
um I don't want to sit there and like take credit for things that I don't know what else was in the background. But yeah.
Okay. Where's Anthony? I feel weird asking, but do you have any kids? Like, do you have a family or
I got fur babies. My
oh,
two
like
kids
cats?
stay at home. No, well they're dogs, but
And do you feel fine with just dogs? Like
Oh yeah.
you
Oh,
like living on your own? Because I want to know how that's
I love it. I did not prior to Tricafta, I never thought I would live on my own. I never thought I would, get a job. Like all of this was not a thing for me. This was not put out there. It was like, okay, you're sick, we take care of you, you live your life as best you can, and you die. Like, sorry,
yeah.
that's grim, it's bleak.
Oh
It's
my
true.
god.
And now I live by myself. I work a full-time job. I went to school for my master's. Like, yeah, it was, and I'm still, even though it's great and I'm doing health like very well, I just want to acknowledge the fact that there is that anxiety there of like, this is all very new for me. I've only been in this boat for 3 years out of the 27 that I just didn't.
Wait, can you go back? You cut out a lot.
Oh.
Something's great, but what? It like
Like,
cut out.
great, and like living on my own is great and my health is great, but that doesn't mean that I don't have like just anxiety about these are very big changes in my life that I was not groomed to as a child. When you're a kid, you get married, you have kids, you go to school. That was not it for me. So now that I'm here,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I'm doing good, but that doesn't mean that like I don't have bad days where I'm still kind of like, what's going, like I have to do this forever now. So,
Will you just take that medication for the rest of your life?
yeah, until they roll out something new.
Oh, so you'd basically just like if they came up with a cure, would you actually do it?
Oh, absolutely. In a heartbeat.
What if it's guaranteed that it won't like it might do something else? You don't care. You would just be like, I would do it.
It depends what the gamble is. Something else would be. Just because for me personally, Trikafta has a lot of side effects. Are they worse than like suffocating? Probably not if I'm still on it, but they're brutal in itself. So if they told me like,
the side effects are brutal.
oh yeah,
But are you like
mental health has took a complete 180 for me. I have problems I never dealt with before.
yeah?
And I just switched providers, and I love all my medical teams, but it's just not something that my CF team is really wanting to address sometimes because it's like
You like your what teams? What type of teams are
my,
they called?
my CF teams, like my providers. And it's just it's a different beast in itself, just the whole like mental health capacity with Trikafta.
Yeah. But you don't think you'll be on it? Like, what if that was the only thing you could stay on the rest of your life?
Oh, then I'll be on it forever because I never want to go back to 18% lung function with oxygen, being 80 pounds and, not being able
right. So if you went off it, it wouldn't, yeah.
If I miss one dose, my friends around me can tell immediately because my lungs will go right back into just nasty, nasty mode.
So that's like that's like a, what is that called? A withdrawal?
I'm pretty much like, I'll feel it. If I'm like, oh, did I take my Trikafta? Let me wait an hour and I'll know. And then, okay.
It's like an alert that it'll let you know that, because sometimes I skip my medication. It doesn't affect me unless I skip it like 3 times.
Right. No.
And then I start feeling.
For most people, from what I have been told, it's like, oh, it takes like a week or 2 for me to kind of start. Not for me. I feel the effects right away. But also, I got to a very critical point of end stage with my CF, and so my lungs are like extensively damaged, and they feel it right away.
I mean, I'm not trying to say this is a good thing, but I'm saying it's like it's more of an incentive to take it every day, I guess.
Oh yeah, I really don't miss that medication. Like even I did a bunch of road trips this past year, and I would always pack double because you never know what's going to happen. So if you're gone for a week, plan on like 14 days just as backup.
So is it hard to go traveling? Do you have to take a lot of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I can't fly because one of my real fun things with my CF, because it was so bad, is when I fly, I cough up blood.
Okay.
Nobody wants to do that. I never want to hear them say, is there a doctor on board again? This has happened 2 times. I'm done. So I have to drive everywhere, which that's exhausting too. But I mean, at least I can do that now, because before I was even afraid to drive anywhere and be, so in the middle of nowhere and then something happens. What am I going to do?
You pull over probably.
But I mean, if I need medical attention and there's, 15 miles between me and a phone that I have to walk to, like I saw that on some of the road trips. And I was like, I could never do this if I was really, really ill.
So how would you get to like, you can't like go to like Europe or?
No.
I'm sorry. Like, cause you would have to fly there.
I went to Europe as a kid, and actually, all of the converters that we had blew out all of my machines, all of them. So, fun fact, actually, if you have CF and your nebulizer breaks, a bike pump will work for you. You get a bike pump, you attach it to your neb, you got
Really?
holding the neb, and you got them pumping fast enough, it will pump air. A fish bubble converter thing will not. Basically, it broke, and my dad was like, "Oh my god, complete dad mode." Tried all these other mechanisms, thinking like maybe like a bubble compressor in a fish tank would work. It didn't work, but the bike pump worked. So
Well, at
that's
least
that's
you're
what I
giving.
was doing in the airport was my neb on a bike pump, and we went on something called the Zugspitze, which is like the highest mountain in Europe. I ended up bleeding up there because the air was so thin.
Oh
So
my
I was like,
God.
we have to get back down like now.
Well, I'm guessing you can't live in like the mountains. That's too
I,
high.
I did a trip to Colorado. I want to say this was I went from Texas to Nevada to Utah to Colorado in August.
You had to
And
drive though.
I had to, we drove, but I mean, you're still, accumulating all that altitude, like as you climb. And my mistake, because I'm me, I don't like to take time. I want to get there, do the things, leave and get there. I didn't give myself time to acclimate. And so I have this thing is called a Whoop band, and I have my Apple Watch, and it measures all my saturations. I'm a nerd like that. I always have to know what's going on in my body. When I came back from Colorado, my sats just recovered 3 weeks ago, back to my baseline sats, just because of the stress that was induced on my body from like the altitude changes, basically.
Oh, so you can't. Yeah, so you can't be that high up, I guess.
No, not, and I mean, if you like, I could probably go live in Colorado, but I would have to stay and get acclimated for a very, very, very long time. So, but I would never climb in like the mountains. No, no, thanks. We went driving through. I think we got to 12,000 feet, and it was really scary because my water bottle popped from all the pressure, and I was like, "Oh
Oh
my
my
god,
God.
my lungs next!" Like, let's go, let's go, let's drive. But yeah, it was
Can you do
interesting.
low altitude, like all
I
like
can,
under
but
like
when I
oh that
do, so when I do like sea level, like in New York or Jersey or any of that stuff, or Maryland, like my lungs will still change even from that alone. And it's almost like they're expanding and just dumping everything. I don't know how to explain it, but
it sounds
yeah.
better than the altitude though,
Oh,
like the
the
higher.
altitude is terrible. I got altitude sickness, and we stayed in like a really nice, like high view hotel in Colorado. And we were already elevated on top of elevation, and my O2 at night was like in the 80s because my body just was not happy with it. Which anything
Yeah.
below 92 is grounds for admission. But because I have CF and because I have all these problems, it's not unnormal for my body to kind of dip into lower, oxygen levels as long as I'm not sitting there like suffocating.
What about like swimming? Can you swim? Like
I have
like
never like swam laps in a pool for fun. So I probably could. Maybe this summer I'll find out.
I don't know
But
if water like affects CF.
um they did a study, and CF patients that lived near salty water, like in Australia and Hawaii, they actually do better because we have a medication called there's what is it? What's the salt one that we inhale? Do you know what I'm talking about? The
You probably
hypertonic
know.
saline. So you
Yeah.
can inhale hypertonic saline and saline, which again, the salt comes into the lungs, gets into the lungs, gets into the mucus, and lets it come right out. So those people that live closer next to sea level, they actually do better with CF. So yeah, seawater is great for us, and just the act of swimming, it's a form of cardio too.
What if you actually like you know how little kids like swallow salt water? Would that like affect CF? I don't know. I know this is a dumb question, but I'm just like if a little kid had CF and inhaled that.
I don't see why, as long as it's not like bacteria or like polluted
Okay.
or something, it would
I'm
probably.
sorry, that's a weird question. I'm just curious.
It's not. I mean, it's out of the box question, but it's something to think about.
Because it's just fascinating, like high altitude, like different environmental factors play.
Oh
It's interesting.
yeah, oh yeah. And I know a
Yeah.
lot of people that don't live in humid. Like I live in a humid environment. I live in Texas, so I'm used to the humidity. But people with CF that are not used to humidity that come down here, oh my gosh, they suffer and get admitted all the time because their bodies are not used to the humidity at all.
Also, if you're not used to temperature, it'll like
Like the cold for me, it's not ideal. I live in Texas. We've only had snowpocalypse one time in our lives. That was terrifying. But laugh all you want. I get it, but we're not made for it. But
It's
yeah,
like you don't know it's like we could joke that you don't know what snow looks like because it's like it never snows.
I mean, from that point, I don't know if you guys know, like, everyone knows Texas power grid shut down, and we were all, in complete despair with no power, no electricity, little to no food. It was a great time. So I've
It was a
seen
great
snow. I do not ever want to see snow in Texas again. It's kind of like, oh shit moment. But like snow in other places, of course, is beautiful. But yeah.
All right, Anthony.
Yeah, snow in other places is great, just not where you're from.
No, no.
Didn't I do good? I asked like 12 questions.
We don't have salt on the roads. So I mean, imagine driving in snow that is just snow with nothing to get rid of it. Like, I'm sure you guys know it's scary. Or like black ice, yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't see it.
I'm assuming it doesn't snow much like in Texas. So
Just up north, we get a lot of snow, but I'm like in this like the lower part of Texas, not yeah, not that much.
Hey Anthony, I'm gonna get going. So,
all right, I mean
Bye.
you've held it.
I definitely gave you 30 minutes because I was asking all the questions. So that was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I mean,
now
thank you.
you have to ask all the questions. So bye. It's up to you now. It's funny because I don't even have a list of questions. I just like come up with it in my head. It's hard.
Oh, I
But,
bet. I get it.
No, you're actually like I said, you're actually really good at it. Like more than
but
you
I
give
asked.
yourself
I can't
credit.
believe I asked. Like, what if a child inhales? What? Like, why did I ask that? I'm sorry. Like, I don't know
That's
why.
No,
I think those are good questions though.
What happens if a little kid inhales like salt? Because like I know people who inhale like in my pool, they've inhaled like chlorine water. They drink it like normal water. Like, what happens if you have CF and like I don't know.
just
I was
choke on it a
curious.
little bit, but
I don't know. But anyway, bye. Yeah, guys.
Thank you for coming.
yeah.
And that's, I guess that's that. I don't know. Thank you. Let me check the chat. And I know there's people that are watching this somewhere. It doesn't say where it's from, but because I have like just all over the place now, because I posted like a couple places on Facebook and all that. But oh yeah, did you talk about like your experience with the other medication, or
Um,
combi or whatever?
I did not, just because I want to be mindful that some people are still taking Orkambi, and all of our experiences are different, and there's no direct like causation, correlation type thing with what happened to me, and I don't want to scare anyone with it, so I'm gonna back off that.
Okay, all right, that's fine. But just so you know, like I guess whatever you could say about that, I think it also apply to something like Trikafta as well, because like you said, everyone's experience is different,
Absolutely.
good and bad. So,
Absolutely.
but I will just say, I guess it's unfortunate it didn't work out as well for you with that.
It got me off the couch to move and save my butt, so grateful for that. But it yeah, I feel like it was kind of like version one of like the creature thing that we all had to take, and we were like, what is this? What's happening? That it was like, oh, okay, it's all over. We're on some deco, and whew.
Yeah, yeah. Because honestly, I've never really taken any other like modulators. Like Trikafta is the only one I have taken.
You're not
So,
missing much. Stick with Trikafta.
I'm not trying to get on any other one, but it's always kind of interesting to hear people's experience with the other ones, especially I guess for the people that started that's already doing that stuff before getting on Trikafta. But yeah, like so how long have you been on the Trikafta? So if you haven't
I
explained that already.
think I'm looking at bridging into this upcoming November of this year will be for 4 years. I've been out of the hospital for 3 years now.
Oh, that's good.
especially because I used to get admitted all the time, every 2 months.
Yeah, I get that experience because there was actually a time I know with me that I was actually starting to get admitted like twice a year. It was even once I had like I was in there 3 times a year. So I get that annoyance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but how sick would you usually get aside from like the like hemoptysis situation? Like, oh,
I mean, it was your regular 2 week course of antibiotics. I would drop like between 10 to 15 pounds every time. Like when I hit that end stage, pretty sick, pretty sick.
oh, so you was already actually at an end stage. That's
I was at 18%. Yep.
so like how long was you like in that stage before you just got
I
better?
want to say between Orkambi and Symdeco, that was 2.5 years. And then I held steady on Symdeco, but I was still like getting admitted, but my lung function was improving. So I want to say I was actively rapidly declining for 3 to 4 years. And then after Orkambi, like I said, I got to 34, which like 34 is better, but it's still like, it's not good. And then after that, Symdeco at 44, I started improving for 2 years. So I would say for the amount of time that I was like sick, probably 4 to 5 years, I would gauge.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just realized you said Sendeco, so that means you was on another one too.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to talk about your experience with that, or that's another like?
I mean, the Symdeco I feel like was better than Orkambi, but it was nowhere near as effective as Trikafta. It was just like I was just staying right at a baseline. I wasn't improving. I would decrease and then kind of come back up to base, but there was no improvement whatsoever. Trikafta was a rapid improvement for me. Within 3 months, I noticed a huge difference.
Yeah, but obviously Trikafta it came out like after that stuff, so I'm assuming the Orkambi came first, right?
Yes. Well, first was Kaleido by itself.
Okay.
Then Orkambi hit the market, and a lot of people took Orkambi, and then they took Symdeco, and now it's Trikafta. Kaleido's kind of like the ugly stepsister that everyone forgot about. So,
Oh, I love that analogy. Yeah, like and also how do you pronounce like the Origami? Because I keep saying like almost like origami. That's
it's just Orkambi. I mean, if my friends would pronounce it origami and they pronounce trikafta, trifecta, I just it is what it is. Like we all know what it, you know what I mean. But yeah, it's Orkmbi. It's literally like one letter off of origami. So I
yeah,
won't do, I guess, because of the B. But yeah,
yeah. So you was going to school for what exactly?
I in 2020 got accepted to a new master's program for something called service design, where we focused in health. I spoke about it a little bit before you got here, but basically, I design end to end services for people to, from a human centered perspective, to increase like I focus on healthcare, so I'm trying to, make that inpatient experience better from a human centered perspective, essentially, and find out like through all the stakeholders, like what can we do better, where are we faulting, and yeah.
So what made you want to get into that though?
Um, right before COVID hit, I got my undergrad in bio, and then I wanted to do nursing or be a doctor. And my doctors were like, absolutely not. You're not doing that. Pick another route. So I got stuck with public health. Not something I cared about, not something I was passionate about. So I was like, okay, well, let me do OT or PT, like occupational therapy and physical therapy. So I applied to those programs and I got accepted. And then I got an email from UT Texas saying, hey, if you've applied to this program, your application's due. I was like, I've never applied to this, but I looked into it. And I was like, wow, this looks like something that I could really take like my skills and experiences and apply to and make a difference. And ultimately I can do it from my computer. So if I'm having a day where like I'm sick and I have to do treatments, it's acceptable to sit here and do treatments in my downtime. And then I thought, if I really do become a PT or an OT, let's say I have a day where like I can barely take care of myself and I can barely walk. How am I going to trust myself to hold someone by a gait belt and, essentially put their safety in my hands if I can't even take care of myself? And so I realized that's not fair to them, and that's not the route that I'm going to take. So I went and did the master's program.
All right. But it's good that you at least try to find something you're passionate about, even if it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
exactly what you wanted to do. Because I know a lot of people, obviously a lot of people with CF that try to get into like the medical field, and they pretty much deny, like, nope, you can't do that.
Yeah, they were like, "Are you crazy? You have no immune system. You can pick up anything. You can't do these long hours. You can't be interacting with patients that are sick. Like, what's wrong with you?" So it was a no go. But oh well.
Yeah, you just gotta find the next best thing. Because I remember, like, when I was young, I wanted to be like a pediatrician, and it was like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you always gotta find a loophole. But yeah, like, since you live in Texas, like, how's it over there right now? Or even better, yeah, how was it like last year? Because I remember, I guess this year and last year, because I remember like last year in particular, like it was actually on the news about how bad the winter was. Like it was like they were actually
Oh,
saying
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
they were actually saying that, like, I think they had like a snowstorm. It was literally like tearing the roads and bridges apart.
Yeah,
Did you have to deal
so
with that?
in Texas, we don't have snow plows or machines that salt our roads, right? So
Yeah.
when it first kind of fell, it was like, oh, cool, okay. But at that time, I lived with a roommate in an apartment with my one dog. And then it started circulating that, okay, we're going to lose power and like all my treatments. What am I going to do without power? So my friend who was in the program with me was like, hey, because her roommate worked, he was supposed to be based out of another state. That state didn't know he was living in Texas. So he couldn't afford to lose power. He was going to lose his job. So they got a hotel and invited us out there. So it was 5 of us and a dog shoved in a hotel with no electricity half the time. And so we have blankets, right? But like our walls are not insulated for cold. Our piping is not insulated for cold weather. So pipes were bursting everywhere. Our hotel flooded, set off the fire alarms. We all had to evacuate the hotel at like 3 in the morning in the freezing, literally freezing cold. And there's only one stairwell. So when you have alarms and uncomfortable things you don't know about in one stairwell, people almost get trampled. It was terrifying. Um, and this is such a first world problem that I'm about to put out there. But Starbucks was the only open restaurant in that whole hotel. So the first night we got there, we stood in line. I'm not even kidding you, for 4 hours for food. I get to the front and the woman's like, "Oh, you can put your name on this list and I'll text you if we have a granola bar for you." And then she texted me at like 2 a.m. and was like, "Sorry, we don't have granola bars at this point." So we didn't get food for like a day and a half. And then finally, Starbucks opened, right? But of course, they price gouged everything. So a gallon of coffee, because we're all working from home because we're in COVID, was like $30 from Starbucks. And all the breakfast sandwiches were another like $15 for breakfast sandwiches. And there's 5 of us. So real fun times, real fun times. And because we're Austin, we have all these dogs. People's dogs, cats, parrots were in the hotel. When we were standing in line, I will send you the video if you don't believe me. There was a parrot squawking up in like the ceiling at everyone, because that's a tropical bird. It doesn't know what the cold is. It's squawking and flying around, and all the dogs are looking up at the parrot like, what was happening? Like it was so insane, so insane. So yeah, we lost power. We had little to no food except for Starbucks. But then nobody, come on, nobody wants coffee and Starbucks sandwiches every day for a meal. Like first world problems, absolutely. But they ran out of that too. And then we had like the food trucks trying to get in with all the through the snow trying to get food to HEB. So we're standing in line, having to walk everywhere. Like I feel like when I was younger, I had to climb up the mountain to get to school. Like that's how it felt. Like my dad telling me, blah blah blah, be grateful type deal. But it was terrible. And the amount of homeless people that passed away because they were stuck outside in the freezing cold with nothing was awful. And then a lot of people didn't know what to do, so they would light a bunch of candles inside and they would like literally gas themselves out with CO2 in their garage. Like it was just such a tragedy that could have been avoided. But yeah, that's because Texas wants to be on its own power grid, I guess. So we hear the word snow and we're like, oh my God, what, where? I gotta get out. Like,
Yeah, but like I was saying, like there are places that are prepared for usually prepared for snow. They struggled with it too. Like it was just the weather. It was awful like
yeah,
last year.
we didn't, I mean, you have all that snow on all the electricity and all the piping and it's all bursting. And, like we had hospitals that were losing power and they had to evacuate kids to other hospitals. I mean, that's terrible. We don't
Yeah,
have things for that at all.
yeah, but unfortunately, that's just something not a lot of the country in general was really prepared for. Like that,
Oh yeah, no,
really
we weren't expecting.
unnatural cold weather. Not to get into this thing, but like, I guess that brings us a question about whether that whole, global warming thing is actually a thing.
I'm not venturing down that lane. I'm not venturing down that lane, but Texas did freeze. Hell did freeze over, right?
I'm just
So,
saying, it may not be so fiction. Like maybe you should look into it. I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen this year because I again I don't know if
oh
this
God, I
country
hope not. We're like 3 weeks out if it is going to happen again. So, mm-mm.
like I honestly don't think this like with this country in particular, like if it's particularly prepared for something like that again.
No, no, no. Like it happened and it was like, oh, it was terrible. But we all just, brushed it away and moved on with no one did anything down here. It was like when I moved into this apartment and my last one, my first question I had for them was, are you next to a fire department, a hospital, or a police station? Because those grids could not be turned off because they support everything. And they were like, we only lost power here for an hour. Give me the paper. I'm signing. I'm moving in. So yeah, that's just to show you like nobody did anything.
Oh, you forgot one thing: fast food restaurant. You don't have like a Burger King or something nearby.
I don't want to eat fast food. Like it's not.
But I'm just saying, like in the case of an emergency like that, and you don't want to have like Starbucks all day, or worse, that you run out of it.
I mean, the thing is, like, you could barely even walk anywhere. Like, because,
That's
okay,
true.
so I had to walk to downtown to get food, to find food for my friends and I, because they were all working. And I had on these boots. Okay, these are $10 boots from a little fashion store that have like a little fur trim on them to be fashionable. Yeah, no, the snow soaked right into those boots. There's no grip. I'm slipping everywhere. I actually lost my wallet and didn't even know, or my credit cards fell out of my wallet. So by the time that I got to this restaurant to find food, I had to pay, and I was like, I don't like this really nice couple covered me because I was ready to cry. But then I had to go back and like look for my credit card all over freaking downtown Austin.
Did you
It was
find it
awful.
though?
I did find it. I did find it. And my wallet was white too. Snow's white. But
Oh,
yeah, no, my boots weren't prepared for any of that. My feet are like frozen with almost like frostbite basically because I'm like this is terrible. I didn't know like I did not know that you have snow boots for this reason. I didn't know about ice scrapers for the window and I do know that you're not supposed to throw hot water on the ice. But like I didn't know how bad it could get. I didn't know you're supposed to take your credit card and like chip away at that ice to move your car and that
I,
your handles can be iced over and you can't open your car. Like I was not a thing I knew about at all.
I actually didn't know you shouldn't throw hot water. I actually didn't know that.
No, no, it can crack your windows like hardcore immediately.
Really.
Hmm.
but speaking of like going through like snow, I actually remember like last year when I was in school, like there's a hill, and like if there's a sidewalk, whatever. It froze, so every time we walked by there, we had to go through it. Unfortunately, to get to a building. I fell twice. Like I fell so hard, like on the on the concrete. I actually lost my. I think I actually lost my wallet and my phone. Like I was like, hey, where's all my stuff? Like I didn't even realize it. I was like,
Yeah, I'll stay down here where there's none of that. So keep your
it,
weather up there. Don't bring it down to me. Don't give me that.
yeah, you don't want that again. Like, but I don't know. Which one do you think is worse? Like extreme cold or extreme heat?
Probably heat. I mean, minus the infrastructure in Texas not being able to handle it. Like, if you're just talking like a person in extreme heat or extreme cold, I can put on layers. I can put on a blanket. I can't tear my skin off when it's 108 degrees outside. Like, yeah, I can't. You can get a pool, sure, but you're still hot when you're not in the pool. Like, believe it or not, it's just that hot. Like last year, it got to like 114 degrees one day, and my friends and I were swimming, and my friend was she was intoxicated and trying to get me to get something. She couldn't tell me what to get. So I'm out here like, my feet, my feet. Literally have a scar on my foot from how hot it was. And I was like, whatever you need, forget about it. I'm jumping in the pool. This is so painful.
So let me get this straight. So you fell in this, you fell in the cold, and you like burnt your feet in the heat.
Yeah, basically. And unlike extreme weather, but
Yes, but global warming doesn't exist. I know when I try to push the agenda. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh gosh, that's funny. But let me ask you this: since Jordan was like asking, I guess, fun facts. I don't know if she got to this point, but like, I guess, what are the biggest stereotypes of Texas that are actually true?
Okay. We say y'all all the time. That's just a fact. Um, we love our barbecue. I actually hate barbecue. I'm not a real Texan. So people hate when I say that to them. You don't like barbecue? I'm like, no, it's disgusting. What else? It's hot. It's just hot. Mhm.
What about like what about like it's like cowboys and stuff like? No, what's that thing they usually the bull riding? There you go.
Oh, rodeo?
Yeah, rodeo.
So we always have a rodeo, but like it's okay. Yes, you have like the bull riding and like the mutton busting and stuff like that, which is basically you put little kids on a sheep and like they run across with the kids on their backs. It's so funny. But we have that, but we also have like a fair and food and like popular music artists coming to play too at the rodeo. So it's not just this like podunk like let me catch a horse on my with my last. No, it's not like that. So it's a fun event. It's always really fun.
Yeah. Look, I always wondered if that stuff was true.
Oh yeah.
So it's not
The rodeo this in February. Actually, they always do it in February. It's like a 3-week event.
really.
They go to San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, and I think Austin. But I think San Antonio, not to be biased, but it's like the best rodeo of Texas. It's just the most to do.
Is that where you live?
That's where I grew up. I live in Austin though.
All right, so there's a little bias there.
I
Which
would
one you
never,
think?
I would
Which one?
never go back to San Antonio. I hated it there.
Which one do you think is like? I guess like how would you rank it from like lowest to greatest in terms of that?
For the rodeo,
Yeah.
I mean, there's the most food, the most games, the most entertainment, the best artists for sure in San Antonio. You get like mainstream entertainment too, not just like I don't know who that is. Like um, I I could check up the lineup. Of course, you have your country artists, but then it's like gonna be someone like Rihanna or Drake or whatever the hell. So
I mean, let's have a check. I think isn't Beyonce from like Texas though?
I think she's from Houston. I think.
That's in Texas, right? Is it? No, wait. Where is Houston?
Yeah, yeah. Houston is like north of Texas, right before Dallas.
Yeah.
Let's see the rodeo lineup for this year.
That's why we getting. That's why we're doing music promotion now. Well,
It's
not
like we
music.
have Nelly.
Just promotion in general.
Um,
Nelly.
Nelly is coming. There obviously there's a lot of country artists, like a lot, but we do get the pop ones too. Gary Allen, Nelly, Turnpike Troubadours, Cole Swindell, Clay Walker, Keith Urban. I don't know who that is. Randy Rogers, Lee Bryce, Jake Owen. Yeah,
Yeah, I would say I have not heard of any of those people aside from Nelly.
they're, they're all country. They're all country music people.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, isn't Texas like a big country music state? So,
Oh yeah, but I mean, we typically have way more pop than just Nelly's. Oh, I don't know what's going on there.
well, if it's happening in February, you got the Grammys that's coming up, so there's that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, you keep me up with I guess some of the controversy surrounding that.
The Grammys?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know anything about the Grammys.
at least from what I've been hearing, apparently like they have I guess they're having some issues of getting artists to actually perform now. Because I don't know, I guess they're like rejecting it, like I don't have to do this. I don't feel
Hmm,
like it.
interesting. I don't know about that.
Well, let's say it's a developing story, but I guess regarding that too, like, did you see like the live stream I did like a week or two ago on YouTube or Instagram?
No.
Yeah, like I don't know, maybe if you haven't heard about it, this was also something else I was going to try to get some people to do like later on. So maybe you've heard about the controversy surrounding like Rolling Stone magazine's list of like top 200 greatest singers.
Oh,
All I will say to that is that the list is it's something. It's a wild list of you have people that you have some people that shouldn't even be on there that are on there. You have people that should be on there that are not, and then you also have some people yeah that should be there but they're like ranked like in weird spots. But
interesting.
but the craziest stuff is like what they had to say about some of the reasoning as to why they had those people there or what they had to say about them. So I'm going to tell you this one if I can remember it correctly, but I think they said something like Rihanna was on the list for example. I think they said something like she's like the I think it was the Frank Sinatra of our generation or something like that. If you're familiar with his singing or whatever,
Hmm.
would you agree with that?
I don't think so, but I don't know who would be the Frank Sinatra of our generation. But I don't think that that's the right category for Rihanna. No,
Yeah, I would not say that at all. Oh, first off, I don't know if we even really have one, at least not like
no.
mainstream wise. But that's a whole nother discussion. But like, I mean, like, what kind of music do you listen to though? Anyway, so
Um, I listen to a lot of different things. I mean, I'll go in between pop, rap, country, classical, opera, literally everything.
yay, classical.
It's mostly for when I'm like focusing for work and stuff.
Yeah, like I know for me, like I got a lot of my music taste interesting enough from like video games. Oh yeah, that's right. You was a gamer too at some point, right?
Hmm?
Like, do you still play, or are you too busy for that now?
I haven't had time to play in forever, but I love the originals, like all the Zelda games, Super Mario
Yeah,
Sunshine, all the Mario things, Spyro, Banjo Kazooie. What else? I feel like Crash Bandicoot. Just like the original stuff for sure.
yeah, yeah. That list is hitting right now. Yeah, I love that stuff too, and I would definitely love to play more games, but obviously just time and all that. But like, I know, but like one of the things I wanted to do is like start doing like gaming, like streaming.
Like
So
Twitch streaming?
yeah, like streaming like on Twitch, YouTube, stuff like that. I mean, plus you can actually get like a big following just doing that stuff. Actually, if I ever do that, if I decide to do a group thing, I'll invite you to it if you have any free time. Like even yeah, like, even if you don't play anything, you just want to like chat on it because that's always fun too. And I was gonna start that earlier, but unfortunately, I had a bump in the road because I had to, due to a mishap of me dropping, not even dropping my phone, no, me splashing my phone in the water at a water park because I'm dumb. I had to get a new phone, and unfortunately,
Yeah.
no, this is what happened. So I was holding my phone like above the water. I was trying to go outside, and then when I went outside, I splashed it into the ocean, into the pool for no reason,
Oh my god.
and it was dead. The problem now is because I have so many accounts that's associated with that number, I can't log into them now,
Oh my god.
which
Yep.
includes my includes
Yeah.
my includes my PSN account because I was just so excited. Like, all right, summer is about to hit. I'm about to start this gaming, the stream, this gaming stuff. I'm about to go in with this. I finally got all the games that I need and the you know consoles and all that. And it's like, nope, now I can't use it. I have to make a new account. I think.
That's awful. Anything I get technology is so crucial for this day and age. Like I
Yes.
work in technology, but anything with a phone number or an email, it's just like, oh my god. Because my old email from my undergrad, it's like GTK736 at my whatever, right? And I use it all the time. But 2 years ago, I got an email, shockingly, from them saying, like, hey, you're not a student anymore. You're not going to have access to this. We don't give a shit. Everything was associated to that email account, including stuff that I needed to deal with like this week and today. And it has been a nightmare and a half to get anything like off of there with a new email because, all the steps go through email. And it's like, I don't have this email anymore. It's done for. It's such a nightmare. I hate that stuff so much.
Yeah, it's annoying. And another thing I've also noticed too, like with some of these accounts, is that now with some of these accounts, they'll have you especially if you're logging on from somewhere else, whatever, they have you verify both. So now you need both your email and your phone number.
Yep, of course.
So there's like no getting around that. So if you're in the worst case scenario where you have both, where you're using like both a new number and a new email, and you can't get access to the old ones, you're just stuck now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And honestly, and for the audience watching, I would love to like try to give some advice on how to fix that, but I don't think there is. You just messed up.
It's just cry. I mean, all you can do is cry and pray to God, Buddha, the deities, whatever the hell you believe that is going to give you access someday because it's done for.
Yeah, it does suck though. It's annoying, and I'm sorry you're going through that right now.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean it's worse when it's actually something important. Like what I'm trying to do is just like gaming stuff. You're doing like academic stuff, so
Well, I got in a pretty nasty wreck. Okay, I'm fine. I got in two rear-ending things in 5 days. The second was a hit and run. Unfortunately, long story short, I was driving home. He hit me. I was hit 5 days prior. It took the cops 4.5 hours to come out in San Antonio. Then in Austin, when I called to make a report because he took off, they told me, hey, we're not going to send anyone out there. Like, you got to make a report online. This was my third police report I had to make because something else happened in between that. So I heard two bystanders came out of the complex and like, oh my God, are you okay? Whatever. And we hear this guy, he hit something. And he had a very distinctive old fashioned truck. So I'm on the phone with 911 and I'm like, yeah, are there people going up to the front, like cops, because I hear sirens? And she goes, yeah, they're responding to that. I said, okay, I'll talk to you later. And I drove out there because I already had a cop report pending, two cops. So I had to go up there, and unfortunately, what happened was he hit me, and then he hit a light pole down the street, cracked that light pole in half, proceeded to drive into a Penske sign, literally took a chunk out of the Penske sign. The Penske like billboard fell on his truck, and he veered right into a tree, and he passed away.
Mm.
I mean, it's absolutely sad. Like someone lost a kid and a father that day. It's just absolutely terrible. But because of that, I'm just now getting my car into the shop, and I can't even get on my USAA account to get my rental car, and it's such a nightmare. And I have to get it done by the 20th of February. So that's something that I'm currently dealing with.
But how long ago was this, isn't it?
November.
Mm. Like, I'm trying to figure out a way to ask this without, I guess, offending people. But
Oh, I'm
are,
fine, but I get it.
no, but like, are the, are the cops over there like are the quality of cops like bad? Because if you're taking like hours just to get somewhere and then not do
So
anything, like,
in San Antonio, I don't know what the heck happened that day, but I saw cops driving by the scene like literally six times. And there was one point where I ran down the street like a bat out of hell chasing the cop. I was definitely out of breath. My heart was racing. Then finally, after like I said, 4.5 hours, they showed up and they did probably little to nothing. But here in Austin, they don't show. My boyfriend's had his truck broken into. My friend's had her house broken into. I had my car broken into. We've had homeless people trying to like jiggle our door handles to get into the apartment complexes. Like in the actual like my door handle type thing, not just the door handle to the end to the building. They don't care. They don't come. If it's not the only time they'll come is if a firearm is stolen or if someone's like actively being murdered or injured. But that's just the experience I know my friends and I have. Maybe other people have had better in Austin. I don't know. It's not me. I've had three pending reports open, and I had to one time in my old complex. This is really upsetting. Someone broke into my car and stole my medication, my drugs, my needles, and my nebulizer.
hmm.
Why? I mean, you can infer the information on your own. But why would you take a nebulizer? I needed that. Insurance didn't cover that. And I called the cops. I made a report. And a week later, they're like, we don't have enough information on this, so we're just going to drop your case. Okay. Yeah.
And that's just a common thing.
That's very common out here. Yeah.
Wow. Like that's insane. Like, and I guess with the other, I guess, incidents you dealt with, like how long ago was that stuff? I guess in between each other.
So the first car wreck was like 5 days, 5 to 6 days before Thanksgiving. In between that, I had come home to hear someone broke into my car or attempted to break into my car. I'm sorry. And then, like 3 days later, after that, and 5 days later, after being rear-ended, that's when the hit and run happened. And then my boyfriend's truck getting broken into was last year, and then my medication and my nebulizer going missing was last year. But there's a lot of stuff happening in my complex, and just like as a disclaimer, I don't. I live in what's advertised as a nice area, right?
Yeah.
And the median rent out here in Austin is 1,700 to like plus. My old apartment is going for 3 grand.
Hmm.
My old apartment was not as nice, but it's not like this. When you hear 3 grand, you think like, oh, it's a high rise, it's luxury. No, it was just like this. But that's what they can do because it's the price range out here. And so with that being said, like even with everything that we're doing and paying, for maybe for other people that's cheap rent, it's not cheap for me. Um, we're still getting. We found needles in the parking lot. In 1 week, we had 8 cars broken into. We've had our packages stolen. It's on camera where someone grabs them and runs to the bathroom and opens them and runs off with them. Like I said, we have people coming into the complex jiggling door handles. What else have we had? Just a lot of things. A lot of things. Like I'm afraid to even let my dogs outside in the backyard at night by themselves because I don't trust people at all. Those are my children.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean that's terrible. But but yeah, I guess I don't even know what to really say about that. That's honestly I would say this though. You be having like the most insane stories like for the time I'm talking to you. Like
I
really.
know. If you want pictures, or you want video, I can definitely send them your way because they are very like, wow, that happened. Yeah, that happened.
No, like no, I'm just realizing every time we do speak, like you be having the most like insane stories. Like, I would say that you definitely have an interesting life.
I like when my life is calm, when nothing's going on. That's where I thrive. Like, okay, great, I can just do things. But yeah,
No, no, but you no, the way you be describing it, you be sound like you be living in a movie like every day.
no, 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 no. 4 days where I sit at home and I make my food and I hang with my dogs. But usually, circumstances around me that I can't control, they're always going to be crazy for some reason. I don't know.
I don't know whether it's just I guess you just living there or like whatever you had to deal with like some of your CF stuff, like some of the stories you told me with that.
My doctor calls me the unicorn of CF. She's like, of course this would happen to you. I'm not surprised anymore. Like, okay.
Yeah, because I remember you had told us like when we was in that group or whatever, like you had told us about that story like he was in a plane or something, and you had
Oh
like I
yeah,
think him out. Yeah,
synopsis in the plane. Yeah, this happened 2 times.
really.
Not one, two, and I'm not making it a third, so I'm staying on the ground.
Wait, so like, wait, was those the only times you actually rode a plane?
Oh no, I have flown in planes many, many, many times beforehand. I actually miss it a lot. My dad flies planes on the side for funsies, and that's something that we did when I was growing up with him. I don't do that anymore. So, but yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I hate riding planes. Like I don't really I've never cared for it. Like I don't like I know it's fast and all that, but I don't really like the idea of just like being in the air and I don't like the enclosed space and it's really uncomfortable. It's boring.
It's real uncomfortable when you're sitting in a plane and you've got blood gushing out of your face, and the woman next to you is like, ah, like I'm gonna die. I'm over here like, oh, I feel dizzy. That was real uncomfortable for me.
Like, do you want to tell that story or like?
I guess. Um, it was June 3rd. I had so lucky. They decided they were going to take my teeth out and do a sinus surgery literally at the same time, like in a hospital setting, right?
Hmm.
So I had the sinus surgery and I went to go get checked. They knew I was flying and they cleared me to fly. July 3rd, flying back home from New York, I was in the plane. I'm reading a book. And I remember I closed my book and I'm like, what am I going to do for the next hour and a half to keep me entertained? Just a faucet comes busting out of my face. And I'm like, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. And I'm sitting here like I have my fingers here and they've got popsicle sticks that they've taped together. They're holding on my nose like this, my head's like this, and I'm just literally trying to keep the blood inside, right? Because when you have a nosebleed,
Yeah.
what happens. So I'm just like, okay, okay, and I'm just coughing this up, and they're like, "Is there a doctor on board?" So the doctor comes and does the assessment. My dad's signing paperwork to like divert the plane, and the poor staff is like, "Here's a cup, here's a pillowcase, here's a cup, here's a cup," and I'm just sitting here like, oh. I straight up thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. I was like, okay, well, this is it. Because, like the thinness of the air and the thinness of your blood is going to change. And we still had to come down. So
Yeah.
with that pressure change, I was like, yeah, it's probably my last hour on this planet. Like, good thing I'm already close up to the sky because that's where I'm about to go. And shockingly, we landed the plane. We didn't have to divert. And everyone at the time was taking videos and I was so out of it, but it was a disaster and a half. And my dad was passed out in the back seat. So when this was going down, my mom's like screaming at my dad to wake up, and the lady next to me is like, "Oh my God." And it was terrible. That seat is a biohazard. I hope to good heavens they burn that seat because it looked like a scene from Carrie. I thought, I can still jump. And so they basically were like, okay, we're gonna have paramedics come get you off the plane. I was like, nope, I'm walking. I I stumbled because I lost a lot of blood. They took me straight to the ER, and I don't remember what they tried everything. They ended up putting this like kitty litter substance thing up my nose to like stop the bleed. It was disgusting. It was probably one of the most unpleasant things I've ever been through. But yeah, I lived. And then I have a very dark sense of humor. So the next day my friend was like, "We should go to the beach." It was the 4th of July. Like, you know what? That's a great idea. Let me put on a red dress the 4th of July, and if I bleed out, hey, can't tell it matches me.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my god. It was yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like, let's be honest, a lot of CFs do be having like dark humor because we go through a
It's
lot. So,
coping
like,
mechanism. Like it's what we do, you know? So
hey, you gotta make light of it. Oh. Like, was that the first time like that happened?
that was the first time. Um Second time I was going through a lot. Just a lot. My life was changing, all bad things. And I was supposed to fly to New York City. So the first time I was coming home from New York City. Second time I was supposed to fly to New York City. Guess who's not going to New York City on a plane anymore? And anyway, I felt so bad because we showed up and the flight was already so delayed. And I'm sitting, I had been coughing up like streaks of blood all week. And again, I was okay in between. So I was like, oh, I'll be fine, no big deal. And wait a minute. I take that back. I take that back. I was not coughing up blood before the plane. When I got off of the plane, I started coughing up blood and they landed the plane, all the fun stuff. And they had the paramedics check me out. I was fine. They didn't know what was up. So they sent me home, actually. And I did not get up. My stuff got on the plane. My stuff went to New York. I didn't. And for days, on and off, I kept going in and out of the ER because I kept coughing up blood. I was good. I wasn't good. I was good. I wasn't good. Then I lost 17 cups of blood and I was intubated in the ICU for severe hemoptysis. I also had 3 blood clots going on that no one knew about. So at least I got off the plane because this would not be a conversation we would be having if I didn't get off that plane.
Um, yeah. So, like, getting off the plane, like, you got off the plane, we got home, or did you
Yeah.
have to?
No, I got off the plane. They checked me on the ambulance. They were like, "Your sats are fine. Like you're fine." I was like, "Oh," I was just more pissed off than anything else. So I went home, and then the next morning I woke up and I was coughing up blood, and I thought, okay, it's whatever. And then the next day after that, it was more. So I went to the ER. Then they discharged me. Then I went back home. I coughed up more blood. I went back to the ER. They discharged me again. Then after that, I had a massive like hemorrhagic event. I got admitted in the ICU, and I want to say 2 or 3 days into the ICU, that's when I hemorrhaged out 17 cups, and they completely put me out with like a breathing tube, and did an embolization and all that good stuff. So.
Hmm. How long ago were both of these events?
Okay, this event was back in 2016, and the other
Mm.
event was back in 2015. So the nosebleed was in 2015, and then the like major episode was 2016.
Oh, okay. And both involving New York.
Right.
Hey, look, you know what? Like, next time, let me know next time you're in New York. Like, hit me up. Like,
I've been there 2 times this year, this past 2022.
really? You is,
Yeah,
you gotta let me know when you come back in town.
we'll do. We'll do.
You can hang out, whatever. Obviously, like, 6 feet
Yeah, yeah.
apart.
I'll
But
be
yeah,
mindful.
like, actually, speaking of which, like, have you like met any like CFers in person?
I have. We just take precaution and hey, how are you kind of deal because I culture a lot of things and I would never want to give what I have to someone else, especially if they only culture like 1 to 2 things. And I also want to protect myself. I don't want to culture 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things.
Yeah.
So I'm just mindful of the situation. Like if I'm outside meeting someone, unless we're like, if you're feet away from me outside, I'm probably not gonna have on a mask. I'll just take another step back, right? But
Yeah.
like if like I'm in close quarters or something, yeah, absolutely, I'll have them on a mask unless they're transplanted. Like I have friends that are transplanted that I've worked out with before, but you're allowed to do that in the CF space.
Yeah. Like I've actually met like I guess a few CFers, because there are a few lads that like lives in New York and actually lives like near, maybe not like nearby, but I guess close
Yeah.
enough. Because I live like in Suffolk County, Long Island, and most of them live like in either like Nassau or like Queens or Brooklyn, whatever. A matter of fact, there is one that I haven't met yet, but we've kind of been in all the same places. Like we follow up with the same doctor, we've been to the same walk, and we've actually been to the same school.
Oh
She
wow.
has, she actually worked there. And I actually found out actually a few months ago that she actually worked with a friend of mine once, but we've never met in person.
Okay.
I just think that's hilarious.
No, that's a small world for sure.
Yeah. And funny thing too, like with the walk, I actually think I saw her team. I just didn't get to see her. So that's like a little inside joke with us, but it's funny. Like, but I have become like I guess actual friends with like someone in CF. Like we kind of hang out sometimes because she lives in Brooklyn and
Hmm.
she drives around or whatever. But yeah, I guess I'll say we don't take the full on precautions that we're supposed to, but at the same time, it's like, hey, whatever. YOLO,
Like I respect
YOLO.
that. Everyone's different, but I mean, I know that some CF centers find out like, oh my gosh, you can be in a lot of trouble with them. So I'm just mindful about that and like, I would never want to be in a situation where I put someone at risk of like not getting transplanted or having to switch centers because I was careless with my actions, stuff like that.
No, we are careful for the most part, but yeah,
Yeah.
I probably just maybe just I guess not being like 6 feet apart or whatever. But aside from that, it's like we're good, whatever. But actually, that's the thing too. Like, how many people like in the CF community would you actually consider like an actual friend?
Oh God. I have quite a bit. That I talk to on the regular. I
Yeah.
have over 8 CF friends that I talk to on the regular.
Hmm.
One, two, three, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm already at 9. Oh, 10.
Hmm.
Oh, 11. Yeah, a lot, a lot. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Let's see. I mean, I haven't really talked to too many people lately, but there was a time there was like people I was interacting with a lot. I mean, actually, there was a time we was interacting quite a bit, at least on text anyway.
Mhm.
I think it was like what was like the first year or two we was like interacting with each other.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
because we're
think
like around.
it
Yeah, because
wasn't
huh?
COVID though, right? It was during COVID, like peak COVID.
It might have been.
Because I feel like obviously I had way less going on during that time. You know.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was probably like around. Yeah, it was somewhere like around 2019, 2020 we started interacting with each other. Yes, it was probably like around COVID. Yeah, it was definitely around that time because I'm thinking about it now because that was definitely like around the time I was interacting with a lot of people in CF. So it was definitely like around that time. Who added who first though? I feel like it might have been you actually. Yeah, because like we're like around the same age, I think. I think your birthday comes first.
I'm old. But hey, aging is a privilege, not a right. So I'm happy to be old, but I'm old.
would you say like would you consider like a double edged sword, or I don't know, like how do you feel about it?
I mean, it's weird because again, like I was telling everyone in the beginning, I never thought that like I would move out, have a job of my own. Like that was not a thing for me, right? Like,
Yeah,
okay, you're sick, you're at home, you have friends, you can go out, but like you're probably gonna die. Okay, cool. I'm very comfortable with the thought of death. Sorry if it makes anyone uncomfortable. But like I did not think that I would ever be out of my 20s. I never thought that like I'm not gonna be 20, you know. Kind of that idea of like being young forever type thing.
yeah,
But no, that's not true. So I don't mind it. I mean, like I said, it's a privilege, not a right. I watched my friend fight to the last day with liver cancer at the age of 27,
yeah,
25, and yeah, that was probably the toughest thing I've ever had to go through. But it's kind of just I've always known that you don't have a right to age. It's a privilege. But ever since then, I just whenever I feel like, oh my god, I can't believe like I'm this age or whatever, that's what I remind myself of. And it's like, well, okay, because I thought my dog was gonna outlive me. She's 5 years old.
hmm. Oh yeah, how many dogs do you have, or how many pets you have?
And in my household, I have two. In my parents' household total, it's four, and with my boyfriend's dog, it's five.
Ah,
And oh yeah, we walk all five of them at the same time.
yeah, because I love your I love your like posts or whatever you have with your pets. It's hilarious.
Did you see the T Rex video the other day?
No, I think I'm gonna miss that one.
Oh my god, they were like fighting, right? Like play fighting with little T Rexes. And then my little 5 pound dog cornered my 13 pound dog, and she was like, "Ugh," like squished up against the wall. It was so funny.
Yeah, like do you? I'm assuming your dogs have like a lot of personality.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They're a handful. Like thankfully, whenever I'm working in my space, they know like it's quiet time. Don't bother mom. I'm surprised we haven't heard them this whole call.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about it because sometimes it's like, oh my god, just stop. But my oldest one, I don't know if you can. I don't know where she is. Lady, come here, come here. Okay, it's my tiniest one, Minnie. We are 5 pounds of tiny. Say hi. Say hi. Oh, put your ears
I
on.
really.
Yeah. So this is Minnie. She's a handful. Yeah, I know. You're a ham. Bye bye. And then this one, lady, come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Oh my god. Oh, this one is my lady. Say hi. Say hi. And now they're talking. Yeah. So this is my 5-year-old. I don't know what I've started. Get down.
I'll, I'll take blame for that. Besides, that's what you have post production for.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's always cool to see your pets just kind of doing them. And I remember like actually I remember like during the pandemic, you used to have like a huge like slideshow of like stories on like Instagram and stuff like that. Like it always felt like it was like little dots of you either just either with your pets, you doing like your I guess whenever you're doing your gym stuff or your food, I think.
I'm sure it was. Oh, I did a lot of like gym challenges and stuff. There was one, oh my God. There was one where you had like a shirt on the ground, right?
Yeah.
And then you had to do like a push up handstand against the wall and literally just put that shirt on using like not your fingers, but like your hands, right? To see like how, your coordination and like your strength. And I had a cat at the time, and she walked under me, and I like fell on her in the video. So yeah, and I would always do like push-ups, and they would always like climb on me and jump on my back, and pandemic things, guys. We were all bored. I did
Uh,
make sourdough, but I made a bunch of other things.
like, do you have a TikTok?
I have TikTok. I don't have a TikTok. Like I don't use TikTok or make videos. I made one video for like CF awareness last year in May, but no, I don't like have a channel.
Oh, 'cause I
Yeah.
was gonna say you should have definitely did it like during then if with all that stuff you was posting.
I don't think TikTok was barely taking off back then though, because Vines, you remember Vines?
Oh yeah.
Vines? Yeah, the Vines had fallen off the face of the earth, and then TikTok like just became a thing. And so it was brand new.
I miss Vines though. Those were fun to watch.
God, those were amazing.
That's why these kids don't know about that. So they don't even know how good they have it.
Exactly.
Like I just started when did I start doing TikTok? I think I did it last year. There was this one video in particular that I did that just kind of blew up, sort of. So I did a video on I think it was about the 30th anniversary for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
So I just did a video just kind of just talking about it, and then I got like 4,000 views. Like I was like, where did this come from? Like it was getting like I think it got like 1,000 overnight or something like that.
Oh my god.
Like it was close. Like it was real close. Like, it was either like 1,000 overnight or like over a week. I was like, I really misunderstood. I was like, wow, I guess people really be loving this series, huh? I love me some Sonic the Hedgehog. I was shocked with how well that was doing. Right now, that's still like the best performing video I have on
Wow.
TikTok. But the best performing video I have in general, and this is on YouTube. And this is the funny thing about it. So I all right. So I'm not sure if you like checked out my stories that I had on Instagram like during like the holiday season. So I have this thing that I would just say like it kind of grinds my gears. So all right, so before I get into that, let me ask you this: what do you think of Thanksgiving? Do you see it as it's? Do you see it as? Do you see it as? All right. Do you see it as its own holiday?
Trust me, you didn't want to hear that. Go on.
All right. Do you see Thanksgiving as its own holiday or an extension of Christmas?
So I did see your beef with that. I used to hate Thanksgiving personally. I hated it so much. And then there was one year for Thanksgiving where my mom fell critically ill with this freak pneumonia, talking like almost on a ventilator type deal. And after that, I learned, okay, I need to be grateful for Thanksgiving. But I say that to say this, watching my, and then also tying it in with my friend that I watched die on hospice. Her end of life came between December 18th and New Year's. So it was primarily Christmas. So for the longest time, I had a hard time with Christmas. But then I kind of had to change my way of seeing it. And I was like, okay, it wasn't about me. I'm not the one that was suffering. I hate that word. I'm not the one that was enduring that stuff. I'm not the one that, you know, lost my life. But to her, she had all her friends and her family. She got to smell all the baking. She got to see the lights, have the Christmas movies, sleep in front of the Christmas tree. Like for her, that was a beautiful way to go out, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of had to like slowly like get used to the Christmas stuff again and the decorations because it was just so heavy on reminding me of like watching my friend pass. And so then New Year that Thanksgiving came. She actually passed on New Year's. So then that year
Uh,
Thanksgiving came, and I had bought a bunch of Christmas stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put up all the Christmas stuff and try to find the happiness in that right now. And so I did decorate. I know. I decorated on Thanksgiving for Christmas, but it was kind of my like mental outlet because my mom was, and I couldn't even visit her, and I was in another city, so it was very hard for me. She's fine. She recovered, thank God. I mean, she actually has a harder time breathing than I do sometimes, and set her off more than me. So I know she took a very serious hit, and like she needs O2 at night and stuff. But this year, I decided that I was going to decorate for Christmas after Thanksgiving. And then Christmas rolled around, and I was like, I need to take my stuff down before New Year's. And I don't feel like I got enough time with my Christmas stuff. Like, I didn't feel fulfilled when I took it down. So I do think that Thanksgiving is a holiday in itself, but I do think that you can decorate for Christmas around Thanksgiving to kind of get that like lengthy time of the Christmas decorations. Because when you put your decorations up, it's better to be like, oh, okay, like I love them, but time to get back to normal. But I was like, no, I still have snowflakes on my ceiling. Can y'all see this?
Oh, I can see it a little bit.
And like,
Yeah.
I've also got like icicles. I don't know if you can tell. I don't know what this camera's doing, but yeah, I have like an icicle chandelier that I made.
Oh, I can see. That's cool.
So yeah, I'm all about like decorating in the holidays. But I need to take them down. I'm vertically challenged, so I have to go get someone to take them down for me, ladder or not. But yeah, so I think that Thanksgiving is a holiday within itself. I do not think it's an extension of Christmas, but I do think that it's okay to decorate on Thanksgiving because I will be decorating on Thanksgiving next year for Christmas again.
Yeah. So, like I've been having like this debate with a friend of mine in particular, and there's this one friend in particular. Because he believes that shout out to him if he's watching this right now, that your Christmas season starts on November 1st instead of December 1st. Yeah, so all the way back there.
Okay.
So what I did, because we kind of got into like or whatever like on Instagram, and I was like, you know what, I got something for you. So I pretty much made a troll video for him and anyone else that is concerned. All right, have you ever watched Family Guy?
Oh yeah.
All right, do you remember that episode when Brian's son comes to the house?
The dog?
Yes.
Oh, and then Brian dies?
No, no, not that. I mean, like, no, he has a son.
No, I don't remember that.
All right, well, all right. So I'm going to show you the video that I have. Like, all right, let's go this. Wait, before I do that,
I probably have to hop off at 5:10 because I have a class I have to get ready for.
Oh, okay. I mean, we're kind of wrapping things up a bit anyway. So
Hmm.
now let me see. All right, can you see it?
No,
All right, can you see the video?
no.
No. All right, let me see. Oh wait, I always forget to do that. Like,
Okay,
all
I
right,
can see it.
all right. So this is a troll video I made. You want to know how many views I got?
How many?
All right, just look at it. Can you see it? It
Oh
says
my
30.
god!
Yes, I got 38.
Wow!
I don't know how that happened, but like, yo,
That's funny.
it's funny because I actually got like I think I got almost 3,000 views overnight. I'm not joking right now. Like when I posted, I went and looked up that episode, whatever. I because I have an editing device because I was going for like radio and TV production, so I downloaded the program,
Mhm.
whatever, so I could do video editing and all that. So I went there and I found that specific scene because I always made me laugh whenever I saw that, and I just cut that and I was just using that as a thing to kind of like again to trolling I went ha 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 ha, like troll.
Mhm.
So I made that video specifically so I could send it to people on Instagram,
That's funny.
and it's it is the best performing video I have so far, and I've actually been getting subscribers for it. Like I don't know, I don't even know what to do with it.
I don't know.
Oh gosh, I mean, if you want to use it, you can. Like, oh gosh. So I think that's what I'm gonna be doing now. Like, if you need any troll videos, I got you covered. I know that was weird.
No, that's funny.
uh, but also, I guess speaking of Thanksgiving, and maybe this might, I guess, sound weird to you, but I never knew like Friendsgiving actually existed until like 2021. I think. Like, have you? I'm assuming you've done one before, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking like maybe this year, like depending on who wants to do it, like maybe do like a either like a virtual Friendsgiving thing in general, or like something like with like the other CFers. Like if I
Hmm.
was to do something like that, would you be interested?
Maybe. I mean, it depends on my schedule.
I mean, we can always figure that out, but like I think that'd be kind of fun. Maybe.
I'd have to like look more into it and stuff.
But yeah, I don't know. That's something we can just plan or whatever. But yeah, like you got any future plans?
Not well. I mean, I have a vacay in September. My friends are getting married in Florida. Um, I can't say that I have anything like too crazy going on right now.
No new movies.
Nope. Sure that I'll be posting more videos of my crazies.
You ever thought about like writing a book or whatever about that? Like just about like just your experiences.
I have heard this like many, 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 many times. So maybe this is advice I should actually start taking.
Like you have a lot of stories and stuff. I think that would actually make for a good read. I'm just
Just like
saying.
the Chronicles or something. I'd obviously have to put like, well, no one wants photo evidence of me hemorrhaging out into a cup. But I've got a photo of me in the ambulance with like popsicle sticks on my nose like this and just blood coming out of my face. Might
Yeah.
still be too graphic, but yeah.
I mean, I already gave people the disclaimer when I first started this podcast. What was it, like a year or two ago? Yeah, it's been like 2 years now since I started this thing, and we're only 9 episodes into it.
Wow.
I mean, I'm supposed to be like getting to like episode 30, but unfortunately, it might take a while. But like I said, like one of the first disclaimers I gave people is that this is going to be the raw, unfiltered experience with people with CF and other disabilities. So
Okay.
I let people know that from the start. So if they, you know, if they didn't heed that warning, that is what it is.
Yeah, that's on you.
Yes, this is not for children,
No.
unless they want to learn something. But obviously you have to get the clean version, the radio version. No, the kids bop version.
Oh God, Kids Bob.
Did you ever have like a kids bop album or anything like that? I never had one, but listening to the commercials for some of that stuff was always hilarious.
I always had the now that's what I call music, 894 or whatever. But the
Yeah.
Kids Bop, no, that was annoying.
I I hate to say it, but like there were some songs I actually found out about through Kids Bop. Like I think like especially like some of those like old rock and pop songs that they had covered. I feel bad that those are my first associations with those songs.
Oh my God.
And I remember for a while, all I could hear when I heard those songs was the kid voices singing them. But it's funnier when they try to make kid versions of like more like kind of mature-ish songs. I'm just like,
Yeah,
how do you have kids pop versions of this?
yeah, and they put something like so dominant that you're like, that's not the term, but okay, take it.
Oh gosh. Like imagine them trying to wait. Did they ever try to do any of that? Like, with, like let's say like a Cardi B song. Like, oof, that'd be bad.
I don't know. I hope not. I hope that was just like off limits, you know.
I don't know, because I've seen them try to push the limit with that stuff, so I don't know how far you want to push that envelope.
I really, really hate to cut you off, but I do have to get going. Um,
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's already been almost 2 hours, so why don't you give like your final whatever you need to say, and then we will close it out.
well, thanks for having me. I hope you guys followed and enjoyed it. I know that I guess the beginning was a little in depth, but again, I had a good time. So thank you. And if you have any questions or anything, like just shoot me a text or something, and I'll help you out.
Yeah,
Like I can send you some of like the CF information that I told you about and stuff like that. If you're still interested, like you don't have to, obviously, but
yeah, and also we just like keep in touch in general. So
oh yeah, of course. You know how to reach me.
yeah, I mean, I do consider you kind of a friend of sorts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so again, thank you for coming.
Of course.
Technically for the second time for the Redux episode, the redo.
God.
Obviously went smoother this time.
Yes, very much.
And of course, thank you, Jordan, for being on here. She was on the Instagram live chat actually.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, no, because I'm also streaming on you don't see the phone, but I'm also streaming on Instagram too to get people to tune in, whatever. But yeah, I'll put all your whatever socials, whatever you want to have on there on the description when this is done, and I will let you know when the full edited version is out,
Okay.
whenever that actually comes out.
No rush. Don't worry about it.
Because I just realized I still have a whole backlog of episodes I still gotta edit. I still have to.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I still have to finish editing episode 3. We're on episode 9, so
Have
but
fun.
yeah, but anyway, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Chronically Chill podcast, and I hope you guys join us again for episode 10, what should be the season finale of season 1, and we'll continue on to the next seasons at some point in time. But anyway, everyone have a great day until next time.